Hey Andy, thanks for sending me this video. And man, I sure apologize for getting getting back with you so late for the donuts. It was that was such a great gift. Thank you so much for that. My wife and I and the coaches who went to the Corey Sproul Memorial Golf outing had those before we met. We met at our house, so thanks a lot, Andy. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get into your son's shot now. Um, I noticed get this thing to work. Right there, I really like how he's got four fingers down here. I like to see this hand get flatter. That means that he's not thumbing the ball anymore. Another thing I really like is how this right foot is ahead of the left foot. I think with age, he'll get a little bit more spacing in between these feet. But I really like that. For some reason, a lot of younger students will have their lead foot or their dominant foot back here. So guide hand a little flatter, a little bit more space in between feet, but keep that lead foot forward. There we go. Okay, same thing on that shot. Now on this shot, I noticed right here a couple things I think will help him a lot. Number one, I knew that ball was rolled to him, but a rolled ball or a ball in the air are both still a pass. So I think it's going to help him a lot to meet that basketball, especially on an inside out shot with his lead foot coming down last. So it would be step and then big step. That way his lead leg is always under the ball, and that helps students or players of all levels get the ball off without having to use a big dip or their thumb on their guide hand or what have you. So stepping to get the ball, we call it reach for the ball with your lead foot. A lot of players I've had do well with thinking of chopping their feet approaching that pass, and but you want the lead foot down as the ball is going into the shot pocket. I don't have a problem with his elbows here. I don't know what proximity or space he has between his face, and the ball. If the ball's too close, then he's always going to use his thumb. So you might want to check that. Um, from the side view, we wanted to see a shooter's. Here'd be his hand and the ball. We call this forming the box. Doesn't have to be perfect straight lines. We really didn't consider or didn't put much stock into how far a player's elbow was, but we didn't want the box to look, oops, that's not what I wanted to do, to look like this. This or like this. That's probably a better example there. Here's being the hand, there the ball. We wanted it to look about as much like that as possible. But again, it's an athletic endeavor, so perfection really doesn't hold a lot of water because, you look at Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, some of the most famous players to ever play the game, and their shots probably would not be considered perfect. So we never worried about perfect. What works for him. But the one thing with shooters is as he ages, he's going to have to get that ball off or his shot off quickly. In stepping with the proper feet positioning, left foot, right foot on an inside out pass, reach with your lead foot. In other words, I think will help him tremendously. I'd like to see him start working on shots where here's the basket, and maybe you've got the ball over here, and he's working on receiving passes where he has to um, pivot properly or square properly. I think it would really behoove you to find out what kind of footwork mechanics the head basketball coach at Westfield teaches. We taught inside pivot foot. So from a player coming from the left side, his left foot upon receiving the ball will be closer than his right. So his left foot will be his pivot foot and his right foot will be his attack foot. And then you can alter this and then change sides, of course. But angled shots are what we call these. I think those are vastly important. Kids get really good at shooting inside out shots where the ball starts here and it's passed out here. And for a right hander, that's just left right shot. Um, but a lot of kids struggle come game time or scrimmage time if they struggle or when they struggle with their pivot feet shooting angled shots. So one of the things we did still do in our lessons is our kids start off, and you'll probably remember this, Kansas shooting, which is basically just a triangle. And everybody starts off spinning the ball to themselves. You got to make the shot, get your rebound, spin it out. So all these shots are inside out. And then the next phase, after you've gone around the horn twice or one complete time, is the player. These are the spots, same spots. We did move them back a little bit as they got better. He's not so much running into the shot as he is, unless he has a passer. If he has a passer, it's ordeal or ideal where he can cut, receive that ball here, and continue that way. If not, we had them start with their behind or spine facing the baseline, and they toss the ball to themselves, so it spun back, so they had to really go get it. We always felt like it was vital to get the shot or get the ball in a shot pocket fast, especially for you know, smaller players. Of course, where your son's going to play a smaller player, 6'3", 6'4". So we called it getting behind the ball. Get behind the ball as fast as you can on this. Get behind the ball, get your shot off, get your rebound, make the shot, get your rebound. Start about here, spin it out, catch it, get behind that basketball as fast as you can. Get your left foot down, right foot square. Your shoulders pull your hips square. Stephen Curry is a tremendous example of a player who all he has to have are both feet down, but his shoulders somewhat square, and his hips then obviously somewhat square. But he's proven that great shooters don't have to be perfectly aligned each time, and I really believe in that. So those are a couple easy things. I think he should work on, but I'll go ahead and play the rest of this. Now that follow through there, I really liked, and you can see there, Andy, he is thumbing a little bit. So it's Right there. Yeah, right there. You want that hand, the guide hand, to face this way. His lead thumb will be almost parallel with his nose, which is great. But we got to get this hand flat here. So he's not utilizing his thumb when he shoots. And I think we talked about this the last time. You want the basketball to spin like that versus like the earth. Earth balls have a tendency to spin and kick out, where the proper rotation, there's a lot more room for error there. But hey, thanks for sending me this. I think you have my cell number. If not, it's 740 572 6733. And if you'll text or call me, there are a couple teaching aids that I know of that help with thumbing. So anyway, Andy, thank you. One last thing, I'd like to see his behind out, or his hips, whichever you prefer. He's inverting his body a little bit. And an inverted jump shooter has a tendency to shoot the ball really flat. So we like to see, if here's his head, his body look a little bit more like this. There's the ball. And this is a lot more of a powerful athletic position versus if his body was inverted, if he was sticking his hips or his behind out this way. That leads to a flat, inconsistent jump shot. So behind, shoot, it's not very good. This is behind, feet, head. We always thought it was pretty darn good if the shooter's chin was out over his feet or in that close proximity. And I got that from Coach Knight when he was at IU. So it's a simple thing, but it does get the body in more of an athletic and balanced position versus an inverted shot or body position. And now your rear end, your hips are tucked. And it's going to end up being a flat shot consistently. Sure, everybody will hit a few, but, you know, Helen Keller could shoot enough baskets. Eventually, she's going to make a couple. But anyway, that's my advice right now. Keep sending these to me, Andy. I hope this helps. You've got my cell number. Call me, text anytime. I'm going to be here at my desk, hopefully a lot, because I can't freaking do anything else. But anyway, thanks again for the donuts. Again, man, I apologize for being tardy and getting you a thank you for that. But that's what I see with your young lad shot. Thanks, Andy.